Hey now, cats, we're back again this week on the Balls from Ellwood show. And with me, if you know Balls, you know I'm a huge A Christmas Story fan. And not only that, I actually was today years old when I found out I actually didn't know, Scott Schwartz, that you were the kid from the toy. Like, I had no idea till today.
A lot of people don't put it together, but that's okay.
I have fond memories when I was little at the drive-in seeing the toy. And I was always a big Richard Pryor fan growing up. And you were great in it. Do people recognize you from all these films?
More Christmas Story than anything else, but the toy, every so often, yeah, people go, oh my God, yeah. I had a couple people that film that I did called Kidco, and I had a couple people today going, dude, Kidco's my favorite. I'm like, really?
That was a Disney movie, right?
No, it was 20th Century Fox.
Oh, it was?
And now it's been bought by Disney, but it's still a 20th Century Fox movie.
I mean, can you tell me a little bit about you growing up? I mean, you were a child actor. I mean, would you consider that a detriment or like an asset to your career growing up? Was there any? I mean, because whenever you hear the term child actor now, it's kind of taboo with people having problems. I mean, did you ever any problems from it or?
No, but I mean, I started. I was 8.5 years old, and I was doing commercials in New York, and then I did off Broadway, and then Broadway, and then the movies came later, or whatever. But, I always had good friends that I knew forever, and they kind of kept me grounded and kept me sane and didn't let me get out of hand, and I wasn't that kind of wild and crazy anyway. I was just more the jokester and the fun guy. That's just who I was. But I was very fortunate enough to come out of the shoot. First movie is The Toy, and Pryor and Gleason were great.
I mean, that leads me to my next questions, man. You've worked with a lot of great people. I've always been a big Bob Clark fan growing up. Even before Christmas Story, I'm a big horror fan, so I love Black Christmas. I love Porky's. I love all that stuff.
Children Don't Play with Dead
Things.
Oh,
Orville. Oh, my gosh, yes. Not only that, you worked with Richard Pryor. I mean, do you have any fond memories or stories you could share with me about Bob Clark or Richard Pryor? I mean,
Bob Clark was just fun. He was just a good guy. Now, he was not only directing A Christmas Story, at the same time, he had made an agreement that he would start editing Christmas Story while he was doing it. So basically, when the film was done shooting, he'd almost be done editing because he had to go right into pre-production on Porky's 2.
Oh, wow, I didn't know.
So he was doing 18-hour days. I mean, he was pushing it. But like the tongue on the flagpole, the script says flick sticks, tongue to pole. That's it. And I said, what do you want me to do here? He's like, hey, you work with Richard Pryor. You do whatever you want, whatever comes out. If I hate it, I'll tell you. I said, okay. And I did it, and all the stuff you see, the don't leave me, come back, stuck. Oh, I just made all that stuff up.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that either. That was all improv?
It's all improv, and I could only do that because of Richard Pryor, because he taught me what to do and how to do it.
Was that a practical effect? Like, I've always wanted to ask you, how did they pull the tongue scene off? Because, I mean, it's such an iconic scene now.
Well, there's a real pole underneath, but then they put a plastic pole over it with a hole in it with a little tube. The hole was about the size of your pinky nail.
Oh.
And it was a suction tube. And they had a Dirt Devil vacuum motor in the snow. So think vacuum and think the hose. And
I was going to say, it looks so real, because I've seen that.
Was.
I mean, me and 100 people today, but I've seen that movie 100,000 times, and it looks so real. Like, I always wanted to ask you, how they pulled that off. I mean,
that's what it was. The rest is called acting.
So it's just fun. I mean, you don't have PTSD when you see a pole. Right?
No. It was more the cold. It was between 20 and 24 below zero. So you try sticking your tongue out for any length of time in the frost, and your tongue freezes. So I mean, it hurt because of the cold. Not because of the pole.
How long a shoot was A Christmas Story? Do you remember?
I was supposed to be there 5 weeks and ended up being there 6 weeks. We did the tongue on the flagpole scene the first time, and from beginning to end, it was 12.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
3 days later, Bob comes and he says, I got good news and bad news. The good news is you're going to be with us another several days. The bad news is they gave the film to a new lab. And they underdeveloped the film.
Oh, no.
So we got to go out and do it all over again.
Oh, no, you had to do that twice.
We had to do it all over again. The second time was 11.5 hours.
Oh, dude,
so we saved an hour.
Oh.
But,
You still keep in contact with any of the people from The Christmas? Oh, you do?
Of course,
you talk to them regularly?
More or less. Not maybe every day, but, Zach Ward, Scott Schwartz is one of my closest friends.
He's such a good guy.
Yano I talk to here and there. Ian I talk to here and there, or Randy and Grover Dill. RD, who played Schwartz. I talk to him once in a while. Peter, probably every 2 to 3 weeks, we're having a conversation about something.
Oh, nice.
You know, we're texting back and forth or whatever, you know. And I love his family. He's got a great wife and 2 beautiful, beautiful children. So it's like I got, you know, a niece and a nephew again. You know, it's like, okay. So, no, we're all a good, tight-knit group.
Let me ask you this, sir. Christmas Story has become such an iconic film. What do you think attributes to the longevity of, you know, generations of families just enjoying this film from, you know, all this time?
Well, that you said the magic word, generation. It's a generational film. It doesn't cater to any one demographic point. The older folks, they went through that era. Mm-hmm. So they remember this stuff.
So that's nostalgia.
That's nostalgia to them, so they tell their kids. Then they told their grandkids. And now you've got that next generation that's flipping. So the kids that watched the film when it was made had kids, and then now their kids are having kids, and so they're passing it along. It's a family movie. People love to watch it, you know, with family members, whether it's a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whatever. And everybody loves it. There's nothing that says it's not for your group of people. It's everybody, you know. And it's a heartwarming, wonderful relationship movie between a father and a son. You know, I mean, The Toy, completely different film, right?
Yeah.
But realistically, it's the same movie.
You know, I never really kind of thought of the similarities, but it really kind of is. It is
The Toy, you've got the military brat who wants his father's attention, who's too rich to have time for him, and he uses Richard Pryor as the cog to get Dad to connect with him.
Yeah.
And he shows him love and care, and he teaches the old man how to treat his kid and all that kind of... Okay, fine. Christmas Story, it's the Red Ryder. It's getting to the Red Ryder, and it's the father using at the end the Red Ryder to say, hey, son, you're a man now. You know, I accept you. The rite of passage. So, outside of how you get from A to Z, they're the same movie. It's a relationship film between his father and his son. That's what they are.
Did you ever have any moments with Darren McGavin?
Very few, actually, because I had no scenes with him.
That's what I was wondering, because like I'm a big Kolchak fan. Like I said, I love horror.
Of course.
Oh, dude, he was in my favorite episode. Do you remember that old show on HBO, The Hitchhiker?
Sure.
Oh, he was in my favorite episode, The Hitchhiker. Just
at the table reading, I got to talk to him in the very beginning.
Oh, nice.
And then when they were shooting the Higby scene with Santa, Higby's in Cleveland was connected to the Renaissance Inn, which was our hotel. Mm-hmm. And you could just walk down this little alleyway. And so, hey, listen, the food from catering was better than the food from the hotel. So I just went for the...
just go down there.
And it's not like I'm not allowed on the set. You know, you go wherever you want. Okay. So, you know, I talked to Darren for a few minutes, but not very much, you know.
Did he seem like very reserved? Was he like a real nice guy?
Nice man.
Because that's how he always comes off.
Yeah, no, nice man.
What's the strangest thing a fan of A Christmas Story's ever asked of you?
Oh, no, I get the, you know, will you come outside and stick your tongue in a pole with me? You know, I get that stuff, and I politely say no thank you, you know. I had somebody actually bring like a 4-foot pole into an event I was doing. They put it on the table. They wanted me to do the thing. I said no. I said, you don't have enough money for that. You know, I don't, you know. I mean, that's one of those things that I hold near and dear. And I've only done it 4 or 5 times in my life, you know, where I've actually turned to the pole and stuck my tongue out and somebody's on the other side or whatever. One was my uncle, a friend that I knew since childhood. The last time I did it now was about, it's got to be 8-10 years ago. It was in a movie theater, and they were having a screening of a TV pilot that I had done, and Yakov Smirnoff was there.
Oh, dude, I remember... what was that show he was on? What a Country?
What a Country.
Yeah.
But then he did it in Brewster's Millions and other things.
Yeah,
but
he's still around though.
Oh, yeah.
He still does stand-up.
Yeah, I worked with him at the Comedy Store in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And he's there at this thing, and he goes, my friend, I want to do this. And I'm like, are you serious, man? He's like, yeah. So we actually went into the lobby, the handrail. He did one side and I did the other.
No way. That's
sticking
awesome.
our tongues out
my gosh.
just to do it.
Is that before like video and camera phones and all that? I would love to see that.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He just took a couple pictures of it.
Oh, geez.
But I did it for him because he's an old friend, and
nice.
and he has always shown care and respect and love toward me, so I've always shown it toward him. So it's like it's a close friend asking me to do it. It's like, okay.
Is that how they got you back for the sequel to Christmas Story? How did that come to fruition? Because, I mean, that's something that people's
I-
wanted for decades, and it was never quite able to line up. I mean, that seemed like it'd be a tough
I
thing
heard-
to get everybody back together.
I heard through my old agent in New York, her daughter sent me a message on Facebook and said, "Hey, I heard they're doing something Christmas Story related called Ralphie."
Oh,
I
so
said,
it
"I don't
changed.
know." I said, "I don't know. I'll call Peter." I said, "Thank you." So I called Pete. And he was doing something. He said, "I'll call you back." So he calls me back and he's like, "All right, this is what's going on.
Oh.
We're doing it, but you have to audition because the powers that be at Warner Brothers and the other production company and Legendary, they haven't seen you work in years. And their first question was, is he still alive?
Oh, man, really?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. And he's like, yeah. And the second question is, do you talk to him? Peter's like, yeah. You're like, well, I guess you got to call him. So he called me, he says, you got to do this audition. And I said, okay, so he sent me the little couple pages of script, the sides that they call it. And I had a friend of mine video at his house, and he read with me, and I did, okay, send it in. A couple days later, they called, okay, you're still you, so you got it. Like, really?
Well,
thanks.
thanks.
Thanks, okay. But they were trying to recast.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they were trying to recast. They had other named people that were trying out for Schwartz and Flick, and the only one that was set in stone was Ralphie and Scott Schwartz. They knew they wanted Zach because he's done 40 movies and how many series and all this stuff. So he's continuously worked so they could see him any given time.
Yeah, but anybody that's a fan of this series, though, isn't going to accept anybody else.
So it became, why are we here? Why is this now all of a sudden coming to fruition? And, I have a pretty good knowledge of television and film and all that. And I said, it's Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai proved the original people who did the show. That's what people wanted to see.
Absolutely.
So, they tried a Christmas Story 2, didn't do good. Then they did Summer State. That
Summer
didn't do
Story,
nothing.
yeah.
And now here we are all these years later, and they're bringing all of us back. And that was a big deal to the mass fans of the film.
Well, that's because this is what people
We're all
wanted
back.
to see.
Of course. They don't want to see, somebody else, whoever it could be in Hollywood playing Flick. They don't want to see somebody else playing Schwartz. They don't want to see, they want to see Scott Farkas as Zach Ward. That's the legendary characters. We're still here. We're still viable. We can still do it.
Well, it's such an ensemble cast, too, that, like, every person was incrementally important as the next. So,
Yeah. Listen, we were not upset, but we were disappointed, of course, that Melinda Dillon couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But her health was failing.
Yeah, I
she
remember
wasn't
reading
doing
that.
well. So Peter called her and said,
Oh.
"Hey, we would love." And she's like, "Oh dear, I'm retired. I can't do it. I'm not."
That's a good excuse.
Well,
Of course,
it's
that's
not.
a good
It's not even an excuse.
Well, not an excuse, but that's
it's
a good reason.
It's a reason.
Yeah.
know.
That's totally understandable.
Of course. Now listen, Julie Haggerty was fantastic.
You know what? Because it's funny. I did read that previously before I seen the film, and I'm like, man, that's going to be tough to get used to. But watching her, she actually did a really good job.
She, I didn't actually see her before the read through that we did in Bulgaria. And I said hi, this and that. And of course, I'm a big Airplane fan, and I love Julie from What About Bob and all these other things. And I went to the makeup trailer, and then I was in changing my wardrobe, and I came out, and Julie had already changed in the wardrobe, and she came out of the makeup thing with the curls and the hair, and I went, oh my God.
I know, she did strikingly look like her. I was like, I was kind of shocked, like how
Melinda back.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it
oh
was
my God,
spookily like similar. Like,
it was very similar. I'm like, oh my God. And of course, I know Julie could pull it off. Wonderful actress. I knew she could do it.
Oh yeah.
It was the look, and the second I saw her, I went, oh my God, jackpot, jackpot. And I wasn't on the production end at all. It was, Peter executive produced, and he hired the writer and the director and all that. As they say, we're hired guns. We're hired to do a job, And there were things behind the scenes that went on, having little disagreements and arguments.
I was actually I kind of figured, but
But it wasn't.
That's just kind of like that with any movie, though.
But wait, it's not what you think. It wasn't me and Peter, or me and Zach, or me and... No, it wasn't the cast. It was
the crew.
It was us versus production.
I get that.
Because there were things that we wanted to do, Zach wanted to do, I wanted to do, and production, not Peter particularly, but in overall, that they were just not really big fans of. They just didn't get it.
I got you.
So we pleaded our case, okay? And I mean, we're talking the writer, the producer, the producer, director, whatever. And we pleaded our case. And at the end of the day, they went with what we wanted. Okay.
Well, that's a smart thing.
Well, we've been out there. I mean, decades of being out amongst fans in the crowd. So we hear, we listen, we know what people want. We know what they want to see. And at the end of the day, what we did stayed in the film, and they were very thankful. That doesn't mean they gave us a check, because they didn't.
Oh,
it was just them pulling each of us aside saying, listen, thank you.
Oh.
The writer, who's a good writer, but, he tried to explain to me that he knew Flick better than me. And I'm like, listen, I know you're a good writer, but I've been doing this for 4 decades. That doesn't work like that, man. And at the end of the day, I said to him, I said, listen, my job is to take your words and bring them to life. And it's to make a better film, because I do a great job. I make your words look good. And and I did what I wanted to do. And at the end, he's like, listen, thank you. And I said, it's not about me. It's the project. It's the product. If what I can do makes it better, it's better. And that's the most important thing. It's not about getting me a nomination for a Best Supporting Act. No. It's making you look good as the writer and me doing my job.
So in turn, I mean, what was the feeling like overall? I mean, did you have a good time making the sequel? I mean, was it easier now that you're older?
Well, we were over. I got there 4 days after Zach, and 3 days before RD, and 10 days later the war broke out in Ukraine.
Oh my God!
So we're 500 miles from the Ukrainian border, and there's a war going on, and we're down here. And we're like, what are we going to do? They're like, nothing. We just keep going, because that's what it is. Film production. Okay, now, you would think, again, with 500 people, or 500 miles away, people are not going to be normal, right? Oh, no. People walking around, people going to work every day. They're just like living like nothing,
Insane.
So, I mean, that part of it was a slight bit nerve-wracking, but not crazy. But as far as the actual experience, it was wonderful to be able to hang with all the guys, because we had never really all been in one place at the same time. And the first day, my first scene I was doing was the bar scene, me and RD, or me and Schwartz. And there was like a couple lines, and my head was just playing games with me. And so I wanted to give him a good performance. So when he was doing his, they were over the shoulder with the camera, and they're shooting on him. And so I had the little cheat sheets. And Peter gets mad at me. He's like, dude, get off the book. What are you doing? Get off the... I'm like, Pete, can we talk about it at lunch? He's like, just get off. Okay, fine. So at lunch, I went over and I said, can we talk for a minute? I said, yeah. I said, dude, I'm having an emotional breakdown.
Oh, my.
Because I'm standing here on a set of the new Christmas Story, and I'm looking for Bob. Where's Bob? Bob Clark, for those who don't know, he's the director. Christmas Story was killed in 2000.
It's a legend too, by the way.
In 2000, April of 2004, I believe.
That's a hard one. I took that pretty hard.
And I talked to him on Sunday. He said, call me midweek. Midweek was Wednesday. Tuesday night, I'm in the back of my house, and I said, I'll call. Now I won't call Bob. I'll call him tomorrow, because today's only Tuesday. We're gonna get together on Friday for dinner. Wednesday never came. He was gone that night. But here I am, and I'm got it in my head. I'm going, where's Bob? Where's Bob? I'm thinking about Bob Clark. So emotionally now, it's starting to affect me to where I'm almost in tears, but I'm not, because I'm on a set and I got to do my job. But your brain is in another place. So I said this to Pete, and he looks at me and goes, you know what? I didn't even think about that, because it happened to me 3 weeks ago when I got here.
Oh, man.
He's like, all right, I get it now. Okay, because I was close with Bob. Peter was close with Bob. I was close with Bob. So once I got past that, and he was such a wonderful guy. He was such a good man,
That's good to hear, man.
So we that first day up until lunch, it was kind of. But then after that, I was okay. It was fine. We would talk about Bob here and there and different things and whatever. But sitting with the guys, we did this on every Saturday night. We'd all go out to dinner, and we'd be at the table, and it's like I'm sitting there, and Pete's sitting across from me, and Zach's over here, and Ian's over here, and Yano's over here, and the other executive producer and all. But it's all the guys, you know. And I'm the oldest, so I'm the sappy one of the group, you know. And you think about it, and you're like, hey, you know, this is cool. That friends of 39 years, and we're all sitting at the table breaking bread. Now, of course, the last dinner that we had, I'm not a drinker. You know, I may have 4 glasses of wine and a couple of beers a year, and that's the end of it. It was Peter's job, in his mind, to get me drunk. So he starts handing me shots. Oh, try this, try this, try this. So now he had already talked to Zach, and the gimmick was our hotel was 1.5 miles away from dinner. So we took, you know, a cab over or whatever. But they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to walk back to the hotel. I'm in no condition to make it to the sidewalk. And they're like, yeah, I'm like, that's not going to happen. I got to call a cab, man. My head's spinning. I mean, he had me, I don't know, 7 or 8 different shots of different things. And oh, my God. So that was their, you know, shtick with me because, you know, they had to have fun.
Well, I tell you what, I got one more question for
Whatever
you.
you want.
What can you give my audience? Can you give anyone that wants to become an actor some sort of advice?
Get an education and a real job. I mean, honestly, it's one in a gazillion that you hit it, and you hit something that makes you a true celebrity or a star or an icon or whatever you want to call it. You know, fate, destiny, everything happens for a reason, lends a hand or doesn't. You know, there's tens of thousands of starving actors in the country already. So if you jump in the mix, you're the 10,000th and one. So, you know, it's all luck. It's, you know, I say it's all luck. 90% luck, 9% looks, 1% talent. Now, this is why I say this. You go to an audition and you do the things. Everybody can do lines. They can all do dialogue, whatever. Okay, fine. But then the actor looks at you and goes, you kind of have hazel. I really wanted somebody with blue eyes. I'm sorry. Well, wait a minute. You didn't do anything wrong. And they go, you know, I wanted somebody 5'9". You're only 5'6". I'm sorry. So there are so many variables that you run into that you can't control. You know, that's the 90%. Somebody actually has to look at you and go, yes, I can see him as that guy. You know, there was, you know, a film in the 80s, you know, that I thought I'm going to get. It was a director I'd already worked with. Mm-hmm. He's producing and doing another film and whatever. How do I not get this movie? And he's like, you know, at the end of the day, I didn't get it. And then years later, when I saw him again, I asked him about it. I said, how did I not get this? Mm-hmm. And he goes, you were like light, sandy blonde hair. We had 3 blondes. We needed a brunette.
Oh, geez, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. And if you're naturally a blonde and you dye your hair black, because it's not the same. Your skin tone, everything else is different if you're a brunette. You know, it was very strange. That's what it was. So it's a lot of it is luck, and hopefully that you could be. I'm going to use some old timers. Gary Cooper, Montgomery Clift, Humphrey Bogart. You could be a Brando. You could bring it like nobody else. Mm-hmm. If the guy on the other side of the table does not see it immediately, you're done.
Oh wow!
They say no.
So
that's why I tell everybody: get an education, have a real job that gets you a real paycheck, and if you happen to get into acting and you try. You know, and it works, doesn't work, you know. I say either way, it's what it's supposed to be. I got a close friend that I've known basically since he's 10 years old, and he got into acting. He was 30 years old. You know, is that Italian-looking kid. He lives in New York. And he's talented.
Is that late to get into acting?
Sure. But the thing was, he just wanted to do it. He saved up money, so he could afford an apartment in the city for a while. And he still works, you know. He does. He's done wine. He's been in charge of like wine testing things at restaurants and, you know, buying their wines and all this kind of stuff. He loves wine, so he does that. But meanwhile, he's been on shows on CBS, and then you see, but you know, like featured background. He's the guy in the front row, and a couple lines in a couple different things, but nothing big. But he's enjoying it. But meanwhile, he still works. He still has a real job, you know.
So education is the key, folks.
Education is the key for everything.
Profound words from Scott Schwartz. Thank you for your time, sir. Thank you for being on my show. I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, man. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Hope everybody out there has a great day. And coming up will be the holidays again, and Merry Christmas and all that kind of stuff. And just be wise, be healthy, be smart. Have a joke, a laugh, and a song every day, and be happy.